Hi, welcome back. Today's class will be for inflexible hips. So if you're a beginner, or you just haven't had much practice yet, or you have just inflexible hips, maybe you do a lot of sports, whatever it might be, or if you're getting older and your hips are not as flexible as they were, maybe you're going into menopause. So we'll be able to use a few props to help us to open up that space. So get 2 blocks, have a couple blankets. If you have a pad, get that, and get 1 chair. Okay, we'll get started. Before we start our practice, I wanted to let you know about my online programs and workshops. Whether you're new to Iyengar yoga and want to learn the basics in a systematic way, a seasoned practitioner looking to revisit the essentials, or a yoga teacher seeking inspiration. These programs and workshops are self-paced, allowing you to make consistent progress and revisit specific topics whenever you like. You can find the link in the description below. With that said, let's begin our practice today. Okay, we're going to start with the chair at the wall. So you just bring it right up to the wall, and you'll stand in front of it. You're going to bring your leg up and over. So once you do that, you're going to have to walk this standing foot away so that this foot is on the chair and this hip can drop. Okay, so here, this is an externally rotated leg. The buttock needs to move down. This standing leg, toes are facing forward, and you're lifting up through this leg. So here you're opening through the right side of the pelvis. In order to do that, when you're just standing balancing without the chair, this buttock must come forward and drop down. All right, so we're just going to start with the chair, bring your arms out, and then lift the arms up. You can hook the thumbs, and as you reach the fingers up, extend up. So lift the whole rib cage up off the abdomen. And as you press into that bottom foot, be even on the front of the foot, the heel, lift up through the arch, lift up through the inner leg, and lift up through the outer leg so you're not falling to the outer hip. So using the muscles around the thighs, top of the buttocks descending, right sitting bone descending. And breathe, just have a few breaths there. Take your arms down. We'll change and come to the other side. So bring your leg up onto that chair again. Walk the other leg out. So you have the back of the knee on the chair resting, so you can descend this thigh bone. So what happens when we take our legs out to the side, oftentimes this buttock will lift up, the thigh will lift up. So here you have the chair to be able to release that thigh bone down, sitting bone, as if you had a weight on that sitting bone, descending down. And then this front thigh, standing leg thigh, moves back. This buttock moves forward. So the top of the buttock moves down, front of the thigh moves back. Bring your arms to the side, rotate the arms. And as you press into that standing foot, press into the mounds of the toes, the heel, lift up through the inner leg and the outer leg, and reach up. Change the cross on the hook of the thumbs, lifting up, and just look forward. Have a few breaths there. Turning the chest so the chest is facing the wall in front of you. Notice if it's turned to the side. So here from the waist corner, from the back ribs, from the front chest, you're turning toward the wall as the leg is laterally moving toward the wall. And then release. Okay, take your leg down. Now you're going to just put your chair to the side. We're going to come to the wall. We'll face the wall. And we're going to do the same thing. But this is Vrksasana. This is tree pose. So you're rooted through the ground with the foot. So you have that stability like a tree would have. So you want to think of stability here. You can come a little bit away from the wall. And then with your hands at the wall, you're going to lift up through the leg. Bring the foot onto the inner thigh. Bring the heel up as high as you can. Toes are moving down. And then just let the leg go to the wall. So in the final, we want to bring the leg away from the wall. But here, just bring the leg to the wall so you can balance through the pelvis. So first starting with a balanced pelvis, straighten up and lift up through that outer leg, pressing into the mounds of the toes and the heels, releasing that thigh down, buttock down. And now with the fingers at the wall and that buttock moving forward and the standing leg thigh moving back, I want you to move the knee away from the wall. So there you can start to feel that contraction in the buttock. I don't want you to grip it, but you still feel the buttock start to work, the outer thigh muscle, and feeling of the inner groin opening. So if you can't go very far, that's okay. Just be aware of what you feel, what you're experiencing. Stand on your foot evenly, so not leaning to the outer side of the foot. Keep the foot pressing to the inner thigh and the outer thigh pressing to that foot. And then you can walk your hands up the wall. We'll come down and we'll do the other side. So bring your hands down, bring your leg down, turn to face forward. So when you bring that leg up, you are getting that external rotation that you had with the chair. The chair was holding the leg, but you still want to descend the thigh. You don't want to come to the outside of this thigh. You want to lift up, move that in. Okay, so when we do this side, we're going to bring the other leg up. So close to the wall, as close to the wall as you can go, while you maintain your balance. Lift up, bring the leg up, catch the foot, and bring the heel in. Now, if you're not able to catch the foot, I didn't tell you to get a strap, but I have a strap. If you need a strap to catch the foot, you will use you'll have to come a little bit away from the wall. You'll bend the knee, and then you'll take the strap on the ankle, and you can use that to help lift up. Okay, so coming up to the inner thigh as much as you can. So you're holding that. I'm going to let it go just because I don't need the strap. And then bring your knee to the wall. So that external rotation, the foot pressing against the inner thigh, the outer thigh pressing toward the foot, and that standing leg moving away from the wall. Move the buttock forward, and then start to move the knee back any amount. Look down and see how much you're moving the knee. So the next time you do it, you're able to be aware of any opening that you're getting. So lifting up, tailbone moving down, knee moving away from the wall, standing tall. A couple more breaths there. So you're lengthening the inner groin, and you're activating the buttock and the outer thigh. And then bring the leg down. You can take hold of the ankle again and bring the leg down. Okay, now you're going to use the chair again. So we'll take the chair to the wall. And you can use 2 blocks. I have an extra mat here. It's not required, but I'm going to build this chair up a little bit. So if you have an extra mat or you have just something that's not going to slide on your chair, I'm going to bring the chair back a little bit so I can stand on the mat. I'll bring 1 block onto the mat, and then this other block will be a block for my foot. Okay, so I'm going to stand close to the chair, bring the heel there, and then lift up, bring the foot onto that block. You could have 2 blocks stacked. So the point is you want to have the knee higher than the hip. So if I had my knee down here, it's going to be more parallel. So I want it to be lifted. And from there, press into both feet, especially the mounds of the bottom foot. From this thigh, moving back, and then you're going to, coming into this twist, so you can take your hand on the outside of the leg, just to give you some space there. So you want to keep the knee and the hip in line. And to do that, I'm going to bring the hand there so it's not going to be able to push toward the wall. Then you're going to inhale, lift, squeeze the hips together, so moving toward the center, and the one at the wall moving away from the wall. Inhale, lift, exhale, turn. So the tailbone is moving down, the buttocks is moving down, and the front chest is lifting. Hands at the wall, fingertips at the wall. Press with the fingertips, press with the arm at the leg. Inhale, lift, and start to turn that back waist corner. So with all twistings, we start the lower pelvis, and then we, with each breath, begin to build up and turn. So aware of what you can feel in the back, that spreading of the back ribs, spreading of the front chest, pressing down into the foot, lift up, exhale, turn. Utthita Hasta Marichyasana. Okay, let's do the other side. So you'll take your block, move it to the other side, move your chair. Have the block to stand on. So the block is away from the wall. The outer leg is going onto that block, the heel, and then bring the other leg up and just be there. So when you press the foot down into that block, make sure you're stable. If that's not stable, you could use a bolster, but something that's firm. So I'm using the block. I could use 2 blocks and stack them like this, but I'm not sure you have so many blocks, so I just turned the block this way. If you have books or something, if you're an Iyengar student and you have all your props, then just get 2 blocks and put the 2 blocks there. All right, outer hips moving in, front thigh moving back, reaching up. Take your arm on the hook it on the outside of that leg, press the fingers into the wall, and then lift the chest away from the floor. Lift the front ribs away from the floor. With your exhalation, okay, again, you're going to have to turn from the back waist corners, moving up to the middle rib cage, and each time lifting the chest near the wall. Inhale, lengthening, exhale, turning. Keep the standing leg firm, collarbones wide, and the chest is turning toward the wall. Just be aware of your shoulder blades. Move the shoulder blades down, and move that leg that's closest to the wall, move that sitting bone down toward the floor. A few more breaths. And then release. Come out carefully. Okay, you're going to move your chair to the wall so that the rail is at the wall, the seat is forward. And then we're going to do another external rotation with a straight leg. Okay, so I'm walking my foot away a little bit because I'm going to bring this leg up and have the heel on the chair. You can also take the strap and bring the strap onto the ball of the foot. You can manage that while you lift up the leg, then bring the heel onto the chair. And here, if I'm going to straighten this leg, I'm going to bring the strap behind. If I'm going to be straightening this leg, I've got to move this standing foot back a little bit. So it's hard to tell how far you need to move out. So once you're there, move it. And then I'm holding the strap. Bring the strap just to the ball of the foot and hold that in the hand and pull back to the shoulder. So from there, turning the chest, moving that hip in, moving that thigh back. And this is that externally rotated leg again. So lift the kneecap up, descend the buttock. Now press the heel and the ball of foot into the wall. And then lift the arm up. Reach the arm up. Keep descending the thigh. Keep pressing the foot into the wall. And press the foot into the floor to lift up through that thigh. So this thigh moving in, thigh moving back, this thigh moving down toward the floor. All right, and then bend your knee. Come down, bring the foot onto the chair, and come out. So we'll do the other side. So to come up carefully, just bring your foot onto the chair, and then walk your other foot out. You can bring that strap, again, on the foot. Bring the heel up onto the chair, and you have the foot at the wall. All right, walk the other leg out. Thigh moving back. Take the strap behind you. So as you take the strap behind you, I didn't show on the first side, but you could have a rope at the wall, or you could take the strap behind you, and then as you hold that, You can pull on that strap, start to open the chest. So the thigh is moving down, front thigh is moving back. Now I have my hand right at that buttocks, the buttocks that likes to lift up. So I'm going to press the buttocks down, press the buttock flesh down, descend the sitting bone, and then hold the strap in the bottom hand, the hand closest to the wall, broaden the chest, press into the foot, and lift up through the outer thigh. So both feet are pressing, one at the wall, one to the floor, and draw up through the outer legs. Bring that firmness to the outer hips. And then bend the knee, step the foot down, and then come down. Take the strap. Okay. We're going to come down on the floor now. You can have, let's take a bolster. If you don't have a bolster, you can have a few blankets. I'm going to take the bolster lengthwise, and I'm going to sit on the end of the bolster. So from here, I'll extend out through the legs. Now, I didn't ask you to have straps, but I'm going to give you a moment to get your straps, and then I'll tell you what we're going to do with them. So in this way, using 2 straps. Okay, once you have your 2 straps, you're going to make a buckle. And at the end of the buckle, once you've done the buckle, you're going to make a little noose. You're going to take the noose and you'll put it onto the ball of the foot. So make it tight. Don't have it very loose because I want you to be able to hold it, all right, without it slipping off. And then buckle up the other strap. So you're sitting on a little bit of height. If you have tight hips, it's better to take a little bit of height so that your lower back lifts up and you can get that space in the front of the pelvis. So I've asked you to take a bolster. If you've been practicing for a while and you don't need to sit on anything, then you can sit on the floor. All right, so once you have the strap on the feet, then you're going to take and hold onto the strap, and at the same time, just line up your feet so that they're on the edge of your mat. So when we have something, a surface to see the lineup, it's much better because we know we're balancing evenly. So I'm a little bit toward the end of that mat, not as much on this side, but at least I'm right at the edge. Okay, so now once you have the straps, you're lifting up, use the strap, and I want you to lengthen and lift up the whole rib cage as you descend the thighs. So earlier in both of the poses that we did, Utthita Hasta Marichyasana and Parivrtta Hasta Padangusthasana, the sitting bone was moving down. So now here, feel both of your sitting bones, descend both of the thighs, lift up through the chest. Take a few breaths there. So you're tightening the kneecap, so pulling it up toward the quadricep, you're lengthening the calf toward the heel, and you're spreading the toes. So the toes are actively widening, foot is widening, and you're right on the center of the heel, so the toes are facing up toward the ceiling. So you're not out, but your thighs and knees and shins and toes are directly looking up at the ceiling. Okay, so now you're going to take one hand in the center, and then you're going to take the other hand back, press each hand, be on the fingertips, inhale, lift, exhale, turn. Now, if you're on a bolster and it's too high, you could always bring a block, which will help you to keep that connection from the hand and the arm and the shoulder. Inhale, lengthen, exhale, turn. So again, you're turning from the waist corners, your legs are, your pelvis is opening in a different direction. Now we have our legs wide. Roll that back shoulder at the wall, back toward the wall. Keep the head lifted and keep the back of the head in line with the upper back. So you're not dropping the head, but you keep the head lifted, which will help to keep the chest lifted. And as you rotate with the arms, you'll be able to get that full length through the pubic bone to the navel to the chest. Exhale, turning. Stay in this outer thigh, thigh moving down. And then exhale, come back to the center. Okay, we'll do the other side. So reground the legs, extend through the backs of the legs, move the fronts of the thighs down, take the hand on the block, reach the other arm over, and as you reach it over, turn the hand, turn the forearm and the upper arm, and turn the shoulder. As you do that, you'll feel that shoulder blade moving into the body. Press the hands, inhale, lift, exhale, turn. So the navel is moving up and back toward the lower back. And as you turn, use your breath, exhale, turn from this left side toward the right side. Keep the back of the head moving back, so not dropping the head. Keep the lower back lifting as you descend the thighs. So the buttocks moving down, but the lower back is lifting. Chest is lifting. And release. Okay. So now we're going to take, so bring your foot in. So now you're bending the knee. The knee is on the floor. Then you're going to take this strap. We're going to come laterally over this leg. So you can use the strap. So this thigh is moving down, knee is moving down, shin is moving down. You take the strap behind you again and start to walk the arm down. So you're going laterally. This thigh is descending. You still want to get that length through the side trunk. Back of the knee, back of the thigh, facing the floor. I'm taking my fingers in that strap. If you're already there, you can take hold of the foot. Inhale, lengthen, and then exhale, turn. As you hold that strap from the back, you can feel the buttock again. So move the buttock down, lift the pubic bone. As you exhale, turn the chest, look up. And then release. Good. Okay, we're going to straighten the leg. Come back to that Upavistha. And then this is pretty handy for pulling the leg in. So when you're bending this leg, you can bring it in. You want to move this leg as a unit. So you're not torquing in the knee, you're not torquing in the hip. So as you bend the knee, you were over here, so bend the knee, calf is against the thigh, and then bring the foot down. Now, if you have any kind of a knee injury, you can bring the foot a little bit away, which will help to release any pain in the knee. If not, then just bring the foot in. Now we're going to take this strap on the left side, take it behind you, and then lift up. Hand is on the hip. Reach the arm, the right arm over. Let's try first bringing the arm up. So as you bring the arm up, establish the length through that whole side of the trunk. As you do that, keep the knee and the thigh moving down, and then start to move over. So you're moving over laterally over that leg. See your leg, it's facing up toward the ceiling. Take hold of the toes, or take that strap wherever you can. So if you have the strap and you find yourself shortening to grab that strap, just remember that you want to lengthen as much as possible. So you don't have to take your hand down to the foot, only when you're ready, when you've had to practice enough that your body is enabling you to do that. So just be mindful of what your body can do today. Press the hand at the buttock, turn the chest, so turning with that twisting action again, lengthening, and then exhale, turn. Bring your head back. Shoulder blades into the body, shoulders moving down, and release. Okay, so now we're going to bring our legs into a straight position, just to allow the knees to open. We don't need the strap anymore, so you can take the strap off. All right, and then we'll just sit in Dandasana first. So bring the hands behind you, extend the legs out, draw the toes back towards you, lift the kneecaps up, and take the hands back. Press the hands back elbows back toward the wall, upper arm moving toward the wall, broaden through the chest. So your collarbones are widening. Using the fingertips, bring the outer arms towards one another. Have a few breaths there. So just allow the knees to start to open. So we've had them in a bent knee position. So if you feel any sensation there, just start to get that extension through the back of the leg. So from the back of the thigh to the back of the knee to the calf to the heel. All right, now we're going to bend your right knee, bring the foot in, and have the foot on the floor. You can bring the toes in slightly, and then you're going to bring your right arm up and move it in, okay? So this is a bent knee position, and we're coming into a twist that's going to be an open twist. So if you're having your cycle, this is a good twist to do. All right, and then take the other hand back. I didn't mention that so far, but if you are having a cycle, we've been doing a few twists, you're going to do an open twist. Inhale, lengthen up, press the leg, press the arm. So these two are pressing against one another to help you turn the back, to help you turn the waist, the middle back, the upper back, and then turn the chest. Walk your hand down that bolster so that you can get that breadth and width across the chest. Keep the right foot pressing into the floor, and then release. Come back to Dandasana, straighten the leg, and then bend the knee. When you take the knee closer to you, you can put your hands behind the knee and feel the muscle of the calf and draw those muscles down. There's two muscles there, so just draw them straight down. Bring the foot in, turn the toes in slightly. Bring one hand back, bring the other arm forward. Inhale, lift. Keep that foot on the floor pressing. Keep this knee and the thigh moving toward the arm, so that will help you to get that turning action. So maybe not right at the beginning, but come into that position, lengthen, and then as you exhale, turn, bring more weight onto the inner foot, which will bring your knee and your thigh to press against that leg. Inhale, lift. Exhale, turn. So the abdomen is getting that kind of rinsing action. When you rinse a washcloth, then you take it and you twist it. So here, you're getting that twisting action through the abdominal area. Breathe into it. And then exhale, release. Okay, now you're going to straighten the leg, and then we're going to bring the legs together. So bring the soles of the feet together. Take the hands behind you. Now, if the legs are very, very lifted, you can either take a couple blocks or you can roll a blanket, and you can bring the blocks there so they can have some support. If they're up here, then take more height to sit on. It's better to have more height so that what will happen is the knees will move down. Okay? So it's not required that you do this here, but it's nice to have something to press the legs into so you can start to lengthen the inner groin. And since you're joining this class because you have tight hips, or whether you do or not, it's good to have a little bit of support there, which will then help to know how far you can go. If you're just here without the blocks and you're pressing down, you might cause some strain somewhere, especially if you have any kind of knee injury. Keep the lower back lifted. Keep the heels and the mounds of the toes pressing. Lift the chest. All right, and then straighten the legs. Okay, Now we're going to do one more Marichyasana. This Marichyasana, you're going to bend your right knee. And if you have tight hips or lower back, bring your leg out a little bit. Give yourself a little bit more space. From here, we're going to raise up through that left arm, lean back. So we're leaning back. We want to clear the abdomen, clear the chest, and bring the arm over. So I'm just going to have you bring the arm over and keep it long. So the fingers are moving away. From there, it's like a lever. So this is extending and the knee is then moving back toward the outer hip. And as you do that, the back body will start to turn. Press, inhale, lift. Keep that left leg extending. So the heels moving away, toes are back, moving towards you. And just watch that you're evenly on your hips. Inhale, lift. Exhale, turn. So aware of that turning and twisting action through the abdomen, turn the chest. From here, if you have a nice extension on that arm and you have it hooked on the outer thigh, you can bend the elbow and then reach the fingers up. Press a little bit more, lift the chest, exhale, turn. Just be aware of that back body. The back rib cage is popping out. Move the back ribs in and widen. So the right side or the left side of the rib cage, moving to the left. Right chest lifting. And then release. Okay, let's come back to straight legs, Dandasana. And we'll just do the other side. Okay, bend the knee, foot on the floor. You want to keep this as a Tadasana foot, so you're pressing into it and you're using it to keep you grounded, especially if you're on the bolster. So you want to have the bolster be a firm bolster, not a soft bolster. Otherwise, you can take a pad that's firm or you can take some blocks. All right, take your arm back, lean back, reach that arm up, start to turn. So you're turning the abdomen, chest, waist, and then bring the arm over. You can even bring this knee in, the leg towards you, walk the arm down. And then once you do that, let's keep the leg out, so a little bit more space there in the pelvis. And then from here, start to move that knee back so the outer knee is in line with the outer hip. And as you do that, you're going to feel the back body turning. So feel the skin, feel the muscles, lift up through the left chest. Take a few breaths there. And then you can bend the elbow. If you have enough catch of the leg, inhale, lift. Exhale, turn. Navel moving in and up, using that breath to help you bring the rib cage up off the abdomen. Keep grounded on the hips, and then exhale, turn. And then release. Come back to straight legs. And now we're going to go into another variation with the leg work. So you're going to bend your right knee, bring your knee back. And the same thing holds true. So when you bring your knee back, your calf and your thigh are moving against one another. I'm going to adjust my position with this knee bent, adjusting it so that this thigh is parallel. I'm right on the shin bone and I'm on the front of the ankle. From here, you can reach back and get one of your straps. Then take the strap on the foot. Broaden through the foot, press the heel back. Tightening the knee, opening that back of the knee, tightening the knee to activate the quadricep muscle, which will then help you to lengthen the hamstring. So oftentimes we have tight hips, inflexible hips, because the hamstring is tight or the quadricep is tight or they're both tight because they have not had the activity that they need. So holding the strap, lift up, keep the weight on this right leg. Keep pressing through the mounds of the toes of the left leg, and then inhale, come forward. So your lower back is lifting, middle back is lifting. Depends on your practice and how far you can go down without rounding the back. So just watch that. If you're rounding the back and you're sinking the chest, then it's better to stay high and use the arms to move the back ribs, the shoulder blades, the back body toward the front to get that opening. Well, you also feel the opening through the back of the knee and the calf. So stay there for your breaths. You can look down wherever you are. If you can go further, you can walk the hand further. So it depends on your body, your practice, and then just look down. If you're down this far, you can take hold of the foot. Keep the elbows lifted. And then straighten the arms. Lift up. All right, to come out, come off that foot and that leg, that shin and the ankle. Extend the legs out, and then we'll come to the other side. So this is a Vrksasana leg. So when we sit in Vrksasana, we have both legs like this. Here, this is Trianga Mukhaikapada Paschimottanasana. So one leg is in Vrksasana, one leg is in Dandasana. Take the strap. Now sit equally on both sitting bones. So take the flesh out to the side. If you were to just sit on the floor, chances are you would be sitting like this. So we're sitting on the bolster. Press, pull back. Press the foot into the floor, the toes, the shin, calves, thighs descending. From the pubic bone to the navel, navel to the chest, lift up through the chest, collarbones wide. Move the shoulders down. And then begin to go forward. As you go forward, you're hinging from the hip socket. So you don't need to go forward, as I said on the other side. The final pose is forward, but if the back is rounding, that's not going to help you. So just be level on the pelvis. Feel that the pelvis is stabilized. And from the stabilization of that pelvis, lengthen. And as I said, if you can come down further, you'll take hold of the foot. And then just release your head down wherever you are. So you're looking down at the floor, but the head is not hanging. So you're not hanging from the cervical area. Straighten the arms. Inhale, come up. And then straighten the legs again. Okay, now we're going to come into final pose here, which will be Viparita Karani, but you'll be bringing the legs into Baddha Konasana. Okay, so you're going to come close to the wall. I'm bringing the bolster close. And I'm going to take a couple blankets and roll them. Just depends on what you have there and what you think that you're going to need. I'm just going to take those for the feet. We're going to come up. And usually we have the legs straight up the wall. Here we'll take the hips a little bit further away from the wall, roll over the bolster, and then bring the feet into Baddha Konasana. Okay, so the bolster is below, across the sacrum, across the middle ribs, and the chest is able to be lifted here. So you're in a somewhat of an inversion. Chest is higher than the head. Just be aware of your breath now. Just a release. The abdominal area is opening. The pelvis is opening. And you have the support of the bolster. So remembering when we brought our legs to the wall in Vrksasana, where the inner legs were lengthening, that tree pose. So here again, you're getting that length. If you feel that that's too much on your hips, you can take those blocks and you can bring the blocks right there at the bolster and the hip to support the hips. So you may not be able to hold without having any tension in the hips. So that's fine. And the blocks have different heights. You can even use blankets, roll some blankets there. Let's take a few more breaths here. Let your exhalation lengthen. Feeling the breath move through the nostrils. Relaxed, slow, soft, smooth breath. Feel that you're right on the back of the head. Chin is moving towards your chest more, so you don't want to have your head thrown up. If your shoulders are tight and when you went over the bolster, you didn't get the right position, you can bring a blanket underneath the head so that the head is lifted a little bit more. Now we're going to take the blocks away, and you can extend the legs. Now I have a strap here. I'm going to open the strap up. It's not required that you have the strap, but you can stay in this position a little bit longer if you have that strap so that you know that your legs are not going to just continuously fall to the side. If you're that open and you want to do that, that's fine. But since I think you have some tight hips there, let's bring the strap to the outer side of the foot and then open it up as much as you think that you can. Keep the heels pressing at the wall, chest lifting. You're on the center of the heel, spreading the toes. Toes are moving back towards you. So after being in that Baddha Konasana, now you've got this wide leg position like we practiced earlier when we were seated in Upavistha Konasana. So it's the same posture but reversed. And we have a bolster, which is helping to get more of a lift of the chest. Before, we were using the strap to lift the chest, holding the strap in two hands. Here, you're over the bolster. So just allow yourself to breathe. Open that space. Let the hips descend. So with the legs lifted like this, you can have a sense that your lower back on the left and the right are feeling balanced, and you have the support of the legs moving into the pelvis. All right, and then you're going to bend your knees, take your strap off. Of course, you could stay in that as long as you want. Sometimes we do this with the legs up, Viparita Karani, and your hips at the wall. So here we're going to slide off. And when you come off, you can just lay down flat. You can take your blanket for the back of the head, depending on how tight your shoulders are or not. But it's nice to take at least a little bit of height for the head. And then here, let's just take this chair. You have a bolster there as well, so you could take the bolster or you can take the chair. If you have very long legs, then maybe you need to bring a blanket on the chair or the bolster to build the height up, depending on the femur bones. If your knees are up here and your calves are down there, then it's better to take a little bit of extra height so your calves can rest completely. Then from here, the femur bone is moving into the hip socket. You can take your legs a little bit wider. So you're turning the calf, and then just move everything away from you so you can spread your arms out. Press the hands down, lift the chest, roll the shoulders under, shoulder blades flat, and then you're going to just take this as Savasana now. So just let the legs completely weighted down into the pelvis. Bring the breath long, slow, soft, smooth inhalation and exhalation. So at this point, at the end of class, you're going to focus on your exhalation. So just first bring some evenness to the breath, and then focus on lengthening the exhalation. I'll set a timer for you. So just be there, be willing to be there, enjoy that, the fruits of your practice, and the breath moving into the pelvis, moving into those spaces that you created during the practice. Once you hear the timer, it'll be time to come up unless you want to stay. Thank you for joining me. Namaste.